Hooray! We're going to cover two great sounds today. T and D. T and D. T. First, let's talk about this great sound. T. T. So just like P, P, which I recently spoke about, T, T, T requires a lot of air. T, T. Can you feel that air? That's what a lot of people miss when they're trying to make this sound. T, with air. T, T, T. And in terms of our tongue, T, T. It just goes like this, to the front of our mouth. T, 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 T. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, thinking of some great words with T. What about time? Or Tom, like a good friend of mine. Or tomorrow, for example. So there's lots of different words you can use. And let's try now D. D. Can you feel the difference? T and D. D. This time, the mouth position and tongue position is quite similar. T. D. D. But this time you add voice, vibration. D, D, D. T, T, T. T, there is no voice. So that's how you know the difference between the two sounds. D, D. Classic word with D is dog. Or maybe something's really miserable. Doom. Or if you're feeling really pessimistic, no, we're all doomed. So this has been T and D.
D, D, D. T, T, T.
So when you learned to read, you were likely taught that the letter T makes a T sound, as in the words table or teacher. Well, this is only partly true. Sometimes it makes that sound, like when the T is found at the beginning of a word. When you say it at the beginning of a word, your tongue touches the alveolar ridge, right here. The alveolar ridge is the bony, hard area just behind your upper front teeth. And then there is a very noticeable stop and then a burst of air as you say words like today or team. Now the flap T, which you're likely to find in the middle of English words, is a little bit different. There is just a brief stop and no burst of air. In fact, it sounds more like a D in English, or perhaps an R in your native language. Not all languages, but some consider this an R sound. Your native language may or may not. Listen for a moment and think about it as I give you some sample words and expressions that have a flap T. Better. Photo. City. Pot of tea. Now to pronounce the flap T, your tongue quickly taps the alveolar ridge. Notice it in the following words and phrases. Water. Meeting. Whatever. Put away. A lotta. Visitor. What a beautiful day. Let me give you one simple rule for knowing when to use the flap T. Use a flap T when the T occurs between vowel sounds. Vowels are sounds spelled with the letters A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. For example, later and pretty. Each of these words has a T sound that's between two vowel sounds. In later, the T is between the A and the And in pretty, the T sound is between I and E. Now remember again that a written letter is not the same as a sound. The words write and note both end in a written E, but that E is silent, so we cannot say that the T is between vowel sounds in those two words. Now there is an exception to the between vowels rule. If the vowel after the T is stressed, that means that with our voice we make that vowel loud, long, and higher in pitch. In this case, the T is not a flap. Examples include attend, protect, hotel, and scientific. You'll notice each of these words had a hard T in it rather than a flap, and that's because the vowel sound after that T was a stressed vowel. Now let me leave you with something to think about. Each of the following words has more than one T sound. Attitude, opportunity, and flight attendant.